really love? A really good arcade platformer. I guess you can say that arcade platformers are one of my all-time favorite genres in video games. I mean, jumping from stage to stage, jumping up platforms, clearing the stage of all the enemies in any way possible. I find it very therapeutic and entertaining. So I figured, you know what? Why not? This is a hybrid gaming channel after all. Let's talk about some of my favorite arcade platforms. Because let's be real, I don't talk about my favorite games enough. So let's start off with this. I'm going to talk about a handful of my favorite arcade platformers. Before we get into the list, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and smack the hell out of the bell so you know when we go live with some new content such as this. Oh, and by the way, no, I will not be once again mentioning the one game I did a video on already called Diet Go-Go. If you want to see that video, then click right here in this link, and I will tell you about that game in this video. That video, the one I'm pointing at, not this particular video, that video. So, head on over there, maybe right now or after you watch this video, whatever you feel like doing. But anyway, let's get to it with one of my all-time favorites, the godfather of all the arcade platformers. I'm talking about Bobble. From Taito, released back in 1986. Bobble, you're playing as Bub and Bob as you transverse through 100 levels to save your girlfriends from a boss called Super Drunk. Yes, that is his real name. It is Super Drunk. You're bubble blowing dragons, so you know what that means? You blow a bubble at an enemy. You trap the enemy in the bubble, and you pop the bubble, and you turn your enemy into food. That's right, food. And what's great is, there's a million ways to get bonuses in this game. Like, you can rack up points by ways you kill your enemies. You can literally trap all the enemies, pop them all at once, and have giant food rain down. I mean, it's crazy how much you can increase your score in this game. Because that's the thing. I've never actually beaten this game. I'm going to be 100% honest. I've never actually made it to the end. I think the farthest I made it in this game is level 50. Because to me, this is one of those games where I care more about beating my own high score than beating the game itself. I mean, that's what's fun about it to me. This game is an absolute classic. It has been ported to damn near every home console and home computer in existence. This is one amongst the most ported games out there. They made sure that this game got ported. If you had the rarest of home computers or game consoles, you had Bobble. I think every console except for the Atari 2600 got this game. And speaking of Bobble, that brings me to my next game. Rainbow Islands, the story of Bobble 2. Now that's the thing, they call this the story of Bobble 2. I don't even know if this is a legit sequel. I would call it more of a prequel or a spin-off than a sequel. Bub and Bob are back. This time they are human. And instead of shooting bubbles, they shoot rainbows. And same thing. You hit an enemy with rainbow and they turn into food. You got Bub and Bob who are human. They're like fat little children wearing lederhosen, turning their enemies into food. I think that's hilarious. You move up through the different islands, you collect the gems, Now you collect all the gems, you beat the bosses until you get to the final boss, which I believe, once again, is super drunk. Now, just like Bobble, I have never seen the end of this game. Never. Because it's always more about the score to me than it is beating the game. One day I'm gonna have to just sit down and beat both of these games, or at least try. But Rainbow Islands is a ton of fun. Just like Bobble, this game was ported to every single home console and home computer you can think about. If you had it, if you had the console, you probably had the game. It was that simple. Now we move on to a rare gem that was found on the Neo Geo. This one's called A Nightmare in the Dark. It was released in the year 2000. You play as a caretaker of a graveyard who is out to stop a whole bunch of ghouls, ghosts, goblins, demons, you name it, from robbing his graves. It has an awesome look, it has an awesome soundtrack, and you kill enemies with fire. You kill them with fire. You kill them with fire. This dude has a lantern. He shakes it at you, and your enemy catches on fire, turns into this big old ball of fire. He drags it behind them, and he throws it and knocks all the enemies off the screen. It is awesome. Now, again, you got a whole bunch of different stages. Then you got your boss battles. This one is more on the simpler side, I would have to say. I actually made it to the end of this one. I beat this game. Yeah, it's probably one of the easier platforms out there. But I highly recommend you check this out. It's available on MAME, and I believe it's on Arcade Archives. I'm not sure. But I played it on MAME. I played it on my old Droid. I absolutely love this game. I highly recommend it. A Nightmare in the Dark. Now I have to admit about this next game, I had no idea how popular this game actually was. I mean, I was literally in the middle of working on a episode of The One No One Talks About on this game. And then I found out how much people are talking about this game exactly. As a matter of fact, there's a remake of this game on the way. It should be coming out, I think, this month, as a matter of fact. I'm talking about Snow Bros. Snow Bros, Nick and Tom, from 1990, developed by Toaplan, released in the arcade through Romstar, released on home consoles, or released on the NES by Capcom. This is an excellent game. A difficult game, but an excellent one. I mean, this game is unforgiving. You play as two brothers who were made out of snow, Nick and Tom. And they throw snow at their enemies, and they turn them into snowballs and push them along, knocking everything off, and, turning their enemies into food. Crazy. Now, like I said, this game is not forgiving at all. It will punish you on a whim if you screw up. The NES version, which is the version I actually grew up on, is way easier than this. I mean, I've gotten farther in the NES version than I did in the arcade version. People love this game. I still highly recommend that you check it out. Snow Bros, Nick and Tom. There was also a sequel called Snow Bros 2 with New Elves, but I'll save that for the next video. Next, we have the official sequel to the original Caveman Ninja, aka Joe and Mac, We have Joe and Mac Returns from Data East, released in 1994. It's a far cry from the original game. As you know, the original game was a side scroller. This game is a single screen platformer where you can play as Joe and or Mac. You clear the screen of enemies, you save the cave girl in the middle who throws food down at you. You clear the screen and once again, you turn your enemies into food. I think that's just the objective here. You turn your enemies into food. That's what all of these games do. Joe and Mac Returns is a fun game. This one was addicting. I played through a lot of this game. I think I cut it off right when I got to the final stage for whatever reason, because I was just like, I got enough footage. I'll play it again next time. I'll do a live stream on it. So yeah, eventually I am going to do a live stream on Joe and Mac Returns. This is an absolute fun one. As to my knowledge, this game was never released on home console. Joe and Mac 2 Trouble in the Tropics came out for the Super Nintendo. It was completely unrelated to this game. And Joe and Mac Returns. Check this game out. Highly, highly recommended. Well, that's going to cover it for my list for now. Let me know in the comment section what other arcade platformers you like and what other arcade platformers you want me to cover. I do have another video on this coming soon, so check this out. And yes, I do realize, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Mario Brothers. I cannot believe I left Mario Brothers off this list. That's alright, Mario Brothers is going to headline the next list. So look forward to that. But again, thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for sticking around with us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because when you do, you're supporting our channel. You're supporting me. You're supporting Mike. You're supporting Text Guy, whose only paycheck is now coming from me. You're supporting Corey. And you're supporting all the other G.A.A.S family members who rarely ever show up on this channel, but they promise they're going to be doing more stuff in the future. They promise. And leave in the comment section. Again, talk to me in the comment section. I'll comment back. We'll have a conversation. We'll be homies. We will. We'll be friends. It'll be a fun time. Trust me on that. But I'm going to see y'all next time. Again, like, share, subscribe, and smack the hell out the bell in case you want to know when we come up with some new content like this. And look out for G.A.A.S merch. It's coming soon. We're working on it, because now that I've figured that platformers, you turn your enemies into food, I think that's going to make a pretty nice shirt. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks for stopping by. Chat with you again soon. Brown out.